Here's a quick screencast to tell you how you can use Google Drive for multiple choice quizzing. I will do a couple of screencasts to go through the basics. First of all, you need to make a Google account so that you can access Google Drive, and secondly, I recommend that you at least decide which topic that you want to make some quizzes on, if not pre-write the questions. Okay, once you've made an account, you can go to Google, type Google in, and if you're logged in, you should be able to see this Google Apps icon, and we want the Google Drive, and this should bring you to the place where all your files are, or if you've not got any files, it'll be empty. Okay, first of all, you need to choose where you want the quiz to go, so I'm just going to put it in alphabetical order. I'm going to put it in AQA GCSE Religious Studies, and I'll put it under Schemes of Work, and I need to choose New, then More, Google Forms. A Google Form is another name for a kind of questionnaire or a survey. Now, because it's a shared folder that I'm putting it in, it's asking me, am I okay with having the same sharing permissions? That means the same people can see what's in the folder, and that's fine. Okay, so in a new tab, a Google form will open, and you need to decide what you're going to call it. So let's imagine I want to do a quiz on Islam and the life of Muhammad. So my recommendation is that you give as much detail on the description as possible, as when you come to search it, that will be really important. So if I press, if I type up there what I want it to be called, it also names the top of the form. Before you start on the questions, you need to go to the settings and do several things to make sure that this is set up properly. So firstly, in the settings in general, because I'm on a school account, it wants me to restrict this file just to people at my school, but I don't want that, because actually that requires people to sign in, and I don't want anyone to sign in. I just want anyone with the link to be able to access it. You've also got a couple of other options here. You might only want them to do the quiz one time, so you can click that if you only want them to do that once. Also, if they've pressed submit at the end, you can choose whether you want them to be able to go back and edit that or not. Usually I just leave that, so once they've submitted, that's their submission. What you can do is, now this depends on what you're using it for, probably not the multiple choice quiz, is for them to actually see everybody else's answers, see the spreadsheet that is created from this. I recommend that you leave that blank if you're doing it for multiple choice quizzes. Now, the interesting new bit for this is here under quizzes. I want to actually now make this a quiz, and that means that it's going to grade it for me and in the spreadsheet tell me how many correct or incorrect answers they've got. So I've got some choices here. Either I can tell them what grade they got straight away, or if I don't want them to see that, I can click that. So I don't actually want them to see what they got. There are reasons why you might do that, but at the moment I'll put immediately. And then once they get that feedback, you can choose what they see, whether they can see what the correct answers were or not. So you might want them to do it and just see whether they got them right or wrong, but not actually tell them which ones, the ones that they got wrong. And we'll be allocating them points, so you can decide whether you want them to actually see those points or not. Finally, in the settings, you've got a couple of options here. You can show a progress bar so they can see how far they've got left on the quiz, particularly if you do a quiz with lots of pages. That gives them an idea, so if they're 50% through. You can shuffle the question order. If you don't want them to get used to the order, you can shuffle them. There's one reason why I don't shuffle, because I use two of the questions as their names, their first name and surname. And if you shuffle that, that could be the 10th question and the 13th question, name and surname. So I don't do that on here. And you can also put a link so that, so if they're using the same device, one class is using one iPad, then actually if you put that link there, that means that the next person can do it without having to re-scan the QR code or however you're going to access it. If you want to, you can put a nice little message at the end to confirm when they've submitted their quiz. Just in case you're not used to Google Drive, you never have to save anything. It automatically saves all the time up the top. So if I go back to the place where I've allocated this, you can see that this has been created here and it's saving it as we go along. No need to save anything. That now exists and will stay there, and you can access that on any computer and any device when you log into your Google account.